I call it them tube because a couple of years back they decided to take the you out of it. They said you don't matter, but that's all right. We still love them. All right, trying to prop this up a little more. I couldn't. Oh, now I'm knocking things over. The stream is falling apart before it's even begun. Before it even started, the stream is falling apart. Random person that just found the replay of this live. What is this guy doing? He's knocking things down. He can't even set up a phone right. I know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use... Stay here. Don't go away. And many years from now, dying in my bed, would you be willing to trade all the days from this to that for one chance, just one chance, to tell your oppressors that they can take your life, but they can never take your freedom? All right, let me grab TikTok. We're going to get them on the horn, and we're going to have a nice talk about entrepreneurship for kids. All right, let's go live. Let's go. We'll call it Business for Kids. That's good copywriting. That'll get the people going. Not if I don't spell business right. Business for Kids. Okay. Done. All right, buddy. We hear you. You're barking at the world, but the world's not barking back. All right. Guy's out of his mind. I love him, though. I love him. All right. This dog is out of his mind. Go live. 3, 2, 1. Hello, TikTok. You are here with YouTube, and we are live wired. It is a beautiful, beautiful day in the sunny south. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. I've been up since about 4 a.m. and things are absolutely splendid. But the truth is, no matter where you are, no matter what the weather is, things are splendid if you perceive it to be that way, because mindset is so important, and that's why we raise our children with a winning mindset. But I've been having fun this morning. I posted a video, a really simple video about getting children entrepreneurial experience and developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And for anyone that's followed my work and what I do, well, that is what I do. Because if we are going to prepare children for the real world, I don't think the way to do that is by putting them in an artificial environment. I don't think you prepare children for business success by having them take a course in business. I don't think you teach children science by having them read about scientific theories. They have to go out there and do the method. I don't think you teach children about history by telling them what happened in history. They have to explore it. They have to investigate it. Because history, no matter how much we think we know, is a mystery. When you want to prepare your children for the real world, you have to get them real world experience. Now, there are many different layers to that. There are different levels to that. But for the purpose of what we're talking about today, we're talking about getting your children entrepreneurial experience. Now, in my homeschool group, Homeschools Connected, we have a rule, which I need to change the name of because I'm a biblical man and I don't like the whole 666 thing, but we call it the rule of 6. And it's based off of, I got to give it a better name, but it's based off school semesters. That, basically, let's say you have 2 school semesters a year. You want to embed entrepreneurial experience, something entrepreneurial, into every school semester from the time your children are really 5 years old. Now, when they're little, what does that look like? That looks like a lemonade stand, right? It doesn't have to be overly complex. In fact, there are a lot of great lessons that your children can learn from a lemonade stand. But I want to talk about something we're doing with our nature unit study this week, and how I am giving the children and the parents, depending on how interested they are, the opportunity to get entrepreneurial experience. And this is something you can do with your kids, whether you're doing my nature unit study or not. So don't worry about that. Buddy, trying to stream. My dog likes to bark a lot. So one of the things we're doing this year is we're calling it our year-long nature unit study. And children have been doing really cool things. They've been planting their seeds, constructing garden boxes, composting, making their own fertilizer, learning about the different bugs and everything that goes into the biodiversity of an ecosystem. And this week, or the last couple of weeks, we've been learning about bees. And one of the assignments that the children are doing, Buddy's so nuts. One of the assignments, he's a 10-pound Chihuahua who I found in 2015, and I love him, but he does not shut up. Buddy! It's very hard for me to live stream when I just, the barking. But, so, one of the things our students are doing with the year-long nature unit study is we're studying bees, and this week they are going to be making their own candles out of beeswax. Now, what is beeswax? Beeswax is the byproduct. It comes from the honeycombs. When bees make their honeycombs, they produce beeswax, and then we could take beeswax and we can use it to make things. Well, one of the things that you can make with beeswax is candles, and it's a great assignment for young children. Really from 6-year-old up, it's a great assignment for your children to do, and they can make their own candles. So, you're welcome, man. Thanks so much for what you're doing. Yeah, thanks for being here, and I really appreciate everyone that supports me. And what I do wouldn't be possible if people didn't support me, and I've been very blessed that we have a large and growing homeschool community, and obviously everyone supports me with my books and whatnot, so thank you. So one of the things we're doing this week in our year-long nature unit study is they are making their own candles out of beeswax, and this was actually my wife's idea, Mrs. Classical Learner. And what we're going to give them the opportunity to do, entrepreneurial experience, is I'm going to have them explore. Hear me? It says there's a reception problem. I hope there's not a connection problem. So at the end of the assignment this week, we're going to have the children explore Etsy, the Facebook Marketplace. Man, the South is the spring comes and the South just comes alive. Like, there's just bugs all around me that want to kill me. Buddy's barking at the birds. My father-in-law was driving yesterday, and there was a copperhead. Copperhead snake. For any of you that know your snakes, you do not want to mess with a copperhead. They will ruin your day. So the children are going to be going on to Etsy. They're going to go on to Facebook. It keeps freezing. Is it still freezing? They're going to be going on to the Facebook Marketplace. And from there, YouTube's not even connected. I reconnect. Get my cushions. Count yo chicken. All right. All right. We got one phone here. Boom. You're good to go. Let me grab the other one. All right. I'll use this plant right here. I'll knock you guys down. What is this guy doing? Knock you guys down. Move that spider because he gives me the jeebies. All right. We are once again live wired. All right, what were you guys saying? I just joined yesterday. I haven't had a chance to look through everything. Yeah, and I'm going to inbox you either today or tomorrow, and we'll go over your individual homeschool and what you've done so far, what your goals are, what your aspirations are. If you need any help, let me know. Most just think it means home remedies, and that's not it at all. With the beeswax, yeah, my wife's an acupuncturist, so herbs, homeopathy. So anyway, let me just give a quick recap. So we're talking about getting children entrepreneurial experience. And whether you do my nature unit study or not, it doesn't matter. You can do this with your children. So one of the things we've been doing this year is a nature unit study in which children have been gardening, composting, making their own fertilizer. And the last couple of weeks, we've been learning about bugs, right? We've been learning about bugs. And we've been studying the bumblebee for the last 2 weeks. And the bumblebees, one of the things they produce is a beeswax. And it's the honeycomb. When you look at their honeycombs, those are beeswax. So you can do a lot of things with beeswax. They're used in homeopathic medicines, as Luna Bellaray is saying. They're used a lot in cosmetics. They're used in foods. And they could also be used to make candles. So, and that's a great assignment for young children. So one of the things we're going to be doing this week is our students are going to be making candles out of honeycombs, out of beeswax. And then what we'd like to see them do, and this is where it goes into how do you get your children entrepreneurial experience? How do you show them how to do really cool things? Well, one of the things we're going to have the students do is they are going to look into Etsy, they're going to look into Facebook Marketplace, and if they're interested, they could look into possibly selling their candles on those sites. That's cool and all. Here's what I'd really like to see the children do with their candles. And I think this would be just really great life experience if this is the route they want to go. I would absolutely love to help educate what homeopathic medicine really is. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear about it. So anyway, what you can do with candles is, so what I'd like them to do is make their own candles and then put together a presentation, you know, like basically talking points, a sales pitch, and have the children put together a sales pitch, look for local mom and pop shops in the area that might be interested in selling candles. It has to be mom and pop, don't go to a big corporation. And then actually go to mom and pop shops, knock on their door, speak with the owner, and say, hey, you know, I'm blah, 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 I'm 10 years old, and I just made these candles, and I think they would add a lot of value to your shop. And I really want parents to work with the children on focusing on that sales pitch and how they are going there to tell the shop owner, hey, I'm here to provide you value with these candles. And these candles are made out of beeswax, they're organic, they're natural, they have a nice scent to them, and I did all the labor myself, and I would like to wholesale them to you, and then have the children actually wholesale their candles to a local mom and pop shop who could resell them at retail. You know what? Maybe that will be 5 candles, and maybe in the end they'll make $10 off of those 5 candles, right? But what it does is it's getting them great experience, right? They're creating a service. In this case, they're creating a product. They're taking that product and they are bringing it to market. And the way that they're doing it is they're doing market research. They're looking up mom and pop shops in the area that might benefit from their type of product, that can. Then they are developing their sales skills. They're putting together a sales pitch. They're organizing all of that. And then they're taking their sales pitch and they're taking that sales pitch and they're going to that mom and pop shop, that local business. They're sitting down in front of a business owner and they're actually negotiating their own business deal. And they're learning to do that sales pitch where they're saying, I've made these products. Here's what's really great about these products. And here is what these products can do for you and your business. And I'd like to do this on a trial run. I made 5 candles out of beeswax, and I'd be willing to wholesale them to you. And you could, you know, I'll wholesale them to you for $2. You could sell them for $5 or whatever it is, right? Whatever it might be. And, you know, see if that mom and pop shop would be open to that. And the experience that your children get from doing that, it doesn't matter. The mom and pop shop, they want to do it, they don't want to do it. The fact of the matter is your child created a product, did market research, put together a sales pitch, performed that sales pitch, negotiated or attempted to negotiate a business deal with a physical product that they made. The experience and the mindset development is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And this is the type of thing, whether you're doing this assignment in our nature unit study, whether you're doing this assignment on your own, whether you're doing something similar, right? Like you can take this concept and you could apply it to virtually anything. So like a lot of the time when I make my videos and I show people how to do this stuff, I talk about doing things over the internet. But with our children, we also want to give them that hands-on real world experience. So one of the things I try to do with the nature unit study is as the children go along in the nature unit study, I want to show them the different type of business things they could do. So like in an earlier class, we had them construct ladybug feeders out of wood, and I had them look onto a site like Etsy and say, you know, you could, I said there's books on Amazon where you could really work on your craft and become a good carpenter, and then you can make things and sell them on sites like Etsy. And now we want to give them options where, hey, you can do things in the physical world, which is probably even more valuable, especially with, you know, the world and just the craziness of the world. Like being able to do things in the physical world is a very valuable skill. And they have an advantage in that they're children. So when a 10-year-old shows up at your business and you're a mom and pop shop and you own a business and they want to give you a pitch, at the very least, you'll sit down with them and hear them out, because as a business owner, it makes you feel good that you're doing your part, helping your community. Like I'm sitting down with the 10-year-old and hearing their business pitch, and I'll give them my feedback as a business owner. And that is a very valuable thing to the community. It's very valuable to the business owner themselves. So this is the type of thing we want to teach our children, because as they learn it, they can really develop a mindset in which they start to see these opportunities, in which you don't even have to point out to them, hey, you could do this. They're like, oh, I know about sites like Etsy. Oh, I know about places like the Facebook Marketplace. Oh, I know about websites like Fiverr.com, how I could do contracting with my art. I know about Instagram. I know about mom and pop shops and doing a cold sales pitch to them. And then your children could start to see opportunities where maybe you don't see those opportunities. And that is a very, very valuable thing in terms of developing their mindset. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to cover today. Let's see what the people are saying. We just get out of here. Really? That is, what is the probability of that? This is like, these are synchronicities. This was like yesterday, someone was in the chat and their son is starting a vanilla farm. And I was like, I thought I was the only one on the planet that looked into starting a vanilla farm. Well, at Feral Patriot, who joined Homeschools Connected yesterday, said, we just started doing some honey fermented garlic and a few other things. So the assignment this week, literally in Homeschools Connected in our nature unit study, is the children are going to be making their own honey fermented garlic and the beeswax candles. So that's literally what our students are doing with the nature unit study this week, honey fermented garlic, which is super cool. You know, basically what they're doing is they're taking garlic, they're peeling it back, they put it in a mason jar, you put the honey in the mason jar, and then you put a lid on it and you put it in your closet and you let it ferment. And each day you have to go back, turn it upside down, get the honey all over the garlic and put it back in the closet, and it ferments over time. And then I know for my wife and I, and my wife is an acupuncturist, when we get sick, we have remedies, honey fermented garlic, and we actually take that whenever we start feeling sick. So that's what we're doing in the nature unit study with the bees. So that's so funny that you're doing that and you bring that up. That's what you call synchronicities. When like-minded people get together. I'm a homeopath, and most don't truly know. I love to help spread awareness. Yeah, I mean, and this is a great platform for that. You should be making videos on that. Other people would find that very valuable. Any suggestions for a kiddo with dyslexia and ADHD? He's in kindergarten. Well, first let's address ADHD. Can I say without saying it, when a child gets diagnosed with ADHD in the public school system, right? There are certain things that the school will recommend that child does, right? And they are a very Western approach, right? There's certain things they want a child to take, right? Me personally, I would not do that for my child. That's what I'll tell you. I have to be very careful how these things are discussed in the public sphere of doctor wants to give you an ouchie world, right? To be very careful how these things are discussed. But talk to people that have been on that their whole life and what they tell you about side effects or research the side effects. Especially in kindergarten. You say, oh, your child bounces off the walls, right? Yeah, my son bounces off the walls too. He's 4. What they need is to run. What they need is an outlet to get that energy out. And what you can do is break up their learning. Like, don't make them sit down and learn for an hour, because that might be a lot for a young child with ADHD. What you can do is break their learning up into like 15-minute segments. That's it. And then let them go and release that energy. Let them run, let them jump, let them play, let them sign them up for sporting teams. Like, have them run in circles in the yard. Like, they love it. But so that's where I would start with that. Smaller segments, let them get their energy out. You can do a lot of stuff in nature, like Gather Round has a cool curriculum for that. And then for dyslexia, Memoria Press and the Gemini homeschooling program, Gemini, Gemini homeschooling program, and Memoria Press, they have stuff specifically for children with dyslexia. There's also the Center for Speech and Dyslexia, which offers one-on-one tutoring. The Center for Speech and Dyslexia, I believe, offers one-on-one tutoring. I have them in Homeschools Connected. I have their information in our resource library. And there's also programs like Reading UC, Hooked on Phonics, that I'm guessing they have stuff for children with dyslexia, although I know Memoria Press and Gemini do. So your child learns different, and that's good, especially if you've diagnosed dyslexia by kindergarten. Well, you have an advantage. You know how your child learns. They're going to learn a little bit differently. That's okay. Don't be afraid to let them do their reading as casual stuff, and when they do more formal type of work, like, let them do audiobooks or read along, audio CDs that they could read along, so that they could get it auditorily, and they don't have to struggle with the visual type of learning that might be a little bit more difficult with that dyslexic type of reading. So that is the route that I would go. But again, I can't stress enough, if your child was in school and was diagnosed with ADHD, they might recommend a certain course of action. Me personally, I would never, ever, ever go that course of action. And can I say ever's enough? All right, let me stress it how I mean it. I would never, ever, 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 ever go that course of action with my child. Emphasis on the ever. In fact, when I was a child, I probably had a similar profile. And they called my mother into a meeting with the principal and the school psychologist. And they suggested, because I also bounced off the walls, that you take little elementary school Brett and put him on that type of stuff. And my mom said, yes, let me see the bottle so I could take it and shove it right up your... I love you, Mom. Thank you. Because if they put me on that stuff, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I don't think I'd own a business. I don't think I would have published 7 books. I definitely wouldn't be an Amazon #1 bestseller. I wouldn't have moved my family across the country, went against the grain, started a homestead, grew my own food. I wouldn't have peach trees, plum trees, avocado trees, clementine trees, pear trees, berry bushes, raspberries, blueberry, blackberries. I probably wouldn't have done any of that. Thank you, Mom. Your child's an individual. They're beautiful, but you got to let them be who they are. And some of us, especially at a young age, we're wired a little bit differently. We bounce off the wall. So the system, right, will come in and say, you don't fit in with our system. You don't fit in with sitting between concrete walls for 8 hours a day when you're 7 years old, sitting in your place. You don't fit in with the system. There's something wrong with you. Well, I say there's something wrong with the system. Well, I say there's something wrong with the system. That there's nothing wrong with that child. That there's something wrong with the system. And the system, rather than admitting that, rather than adjusting and making itself so that it's available to the child, says, no, what we need to do is alter that child. The problem is the system. The problem is not your child. Yeah, entrepreneur skills are absolutely critical. Right. If you want to prepare your children for the real world, you gotta give them real world experience. We are planning on doing a big tech detox and relearning how to use it as a beneficial resource. Yeah, that's such a big thing. One of the things that I struggle with, like my business, right, is over the internet. And because of that, I struggle with looking at the phones too much, right? Like you become addicted to it, right? That dopamine drip, right? Those red dots, right? You get that red notification dots. And like for someone like me, who like I put a lot of effort into it, because of that, I get on some days hundreds of thousands of red dots, right? And it could be very addicting. And social media detoxes are a very powerful thing that I think I actually want to start doing that as a family, where we do complete screen detoxes, where like maybe, I don't know, maybe every Sunday or whatever it might be, that we do no screens or something like that, because I think that's a very healthy way to reset, especially for young children who are vulnerable to this technology, which, make no mistake, this tech is predatory, right? I mean, I could show you videos of the co-founder, not the co-founder, but the CEO of Facebook, Gupta. He's like the assistant CEO. And he was talking about how they studied human psychology, and that's where they came up with the red dot. And what Facebook and these sites are designed to do is to pull you in the same way Pavlov pulls a dog in, right? They're trying to get that drip, that dopamine drip, because it keeps you coming back. And think about our children, how vulnerable they are to that drip, right? By the way, if anyone's interested in our homeschool community and what we do, That's Homeschools Connected at www.classicallearner.com. Use the promotion code FREEDOM, and it's $10 a month. The thing jumps, so I'm trying to find where I was. My daughter is doing this with her clay art. She makes extreme detailed dragons all the time. So that's really cool. Like, some of the things your daughter can do is she could do like, she's artsy, so she could take courses on photography and do like really cool photographs of her dragons, or like courses in videography and learn how to do like motion pictures with her dragons. I would teach her how to sculpt her dragons, paint her dragons, draw her dragons. Depending on how old she is, you can show her options for, like, there's sites like Printful or Printify, which do drop shipping. She could do her dragons, put them on shirts, and try to sell her shirts, which would be like a great way to get her entrepreneurial experience and like develop that mindset. So there's so much you can do, but keep in mind, with all of this stuff, what's really important is skill development. Oh, graphic design. She should take courses in graphic design. Because then, like, she has the skill of drawing dragons, the skill of sculpting dragons, the skill of graphic design, the skill of photography, videography, the skill of taking a product and bringing it to market, right? So, like, everything you do, you want to hyper focus on skill development and mindset and experience. And if you do those things, your daughter will be a wrecking ball when she's a little bit older, which is awesome. That's fantastic. Time to set up a table at a farmer's market. Yeah, that's another really cool thing she could do, where she makes her dragons. Did you know that most farmer's markets, like, you could get a table for the day for $50? $50. So you as a mother can say, all right, how do you get a table for a farmer's market? And your daughter could be like, oh, I don't know. You could be like, all right, well, why don't we look into it? Why don't you call up? Let's go out. Let's see if the farmer's market has a website. They do. Call them up. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I make dragons. I wanted a table at your farmer's market. They say, oh, it's $50. Be like, oh, but Mom, I don't have $50. Well, okay, well, what are your options? What do you mean? How can you raise $50? I could work for it. All right, you can do work around the house and I'll pay you $50 for the work you do. Or I'd be willing to invest in you. I'll pay the $50 for your table, right? And then you can pay me back the first $50 of your profit that you make from selling dragons. And then after I make that $50, then you keep the rest of the profit. I'd be willing to do that deal. Okay, Mom, what if I don't make $50? Well, that's a possibility. Will I still have to pay you back? I don't know. What type of deal are you negotiating, right? Right now, my risk is the $50, right? And you're just teaching your child how to do this stuff. Like, you can negotiate a deal where, I'll lay down where Mom and Dad lays down the $50, and then Mom and Dad get a percentage of the profit. And even if you don't make $50 back, like, if you don't make the $50 back, then your child doesn't have to repay that, right? But you want to teach your child how to do these different business things so that they're learning to do business deals and develop an entrepreneurial mindset. And they're actually negotiating. Like, it's a very important skill in life, and your child could do that for sure. We are actually growing a 6,000 square foot garden. That's awesome. Starting our co-op with friends. Yeah, and your child should have a certain percentage of that square feet that they are responsible for growing. And then, again, you could show them how to do a lot of really cool things with that. We grow our own garlic. Yeah, I was telling my wife, I was like, I want to grow a ton. Like, I want to grow a year's worth of garlic. Selling plants, produce. They learn about the soil, canning. Yeah, basically everything you do is like our nature unit study, which is hilarious. You're on the same path as us. I treat ADHD with love. Specialize in, so she specializes in a certain type of injury. I wouldn't want to say what that is. I don't want to, that would never happen. I know so because the people that, no, I'm not gonna get into it. I can get into it. All right. We are removing all the food dyes from our food due to behavioral side effects. Yeah, that stuff is, I mean, like Yellow 5, for example, which is in all our children's candy, right? Yellow 5, like that's banned in Europe, right? Because of the side effects. It's just not banned here. I need to cut this hair. Cole, I'm shaving my head again. I'm shaving it. I'm shaving it today. You can't stop me. Yeah, that stuff. Actually, on the @RealBrettPike channel, I posted the other day, a cool assignment you can do with your children is to research. You can just pull up an image on Google, research all of the different chemicals that are banned in Europe but are legal in the United States, like food processing chemicals, and then play a game where you go to the grocery store and whoever could find the most toxic products at the grocery store, they win the game, which is a cool game to play. Or you can, once a month, go to the grocery store with your child, look up an ingredient on the back of a box, and then research the side effects of that ingredient. And then after they do that for 1 year, they'll learn 12 different ingredients. They'll know the problem with processed foods. They'll be like, oh, I see what the problem with this is. Or natural flavors. Natural flavors. These criminal politicians that let these companies do this. This world. But this world is fallen, so best start living a moral life. I was addicted to the medicine. It was hard to stop taking it. Yeah, that's how they get people. Hey man, how's your morning going? I've been having a great morning. Unfortunately, that's a lot of the population. Yeah, I mean, look what happened with Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family, and the opioid crisis. But, you know, CNN says you are not to question the man who wants to give you an ouchie. they took out $1 billion and they were like, look, the science is settled. Oh, man. All right. I better digress. I digress. Yeah, I am ADHD dyslexic. Yeah, so like that's why I was telling the person with the dyslexic child, like, it's okay to let your child do a lot of their work with audiobooks. Teach your child the way in which they learn, right? People learn differently. Some people learn from sitting down and reading a book. Some people learn better when they have that book read to them. Some people learn better when they watch a video on a subject. And knowing your child and how they learn will give you a major advantage over, not knowing how they learn. They tried to put my 5-year-old stepson on those, certain course of action. Good for you standing up for your child. Yeah, my mom tried to do that to me. We are just starting homestead here. Yeah, I mean we're just getting into our homestead, so you're absolutely crushing. And I'm glad to go on this journey with you. I realized how bad it was. Yeah, I mean, you got to I did a talk yesterday on at Real Brett Pike, right? And it's the same thing with. I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it because you guys know how these things go. Right now, they're talking about food shortages, right? So you'll have the president of the United States go on television and he'll say there could be food shortages and it's the fault of a president across the world, and yeah, so get ready for that. That's not leadership. What they're doing is they're putting you in a fear state, right? The same way they did for the last 2 years. They put you in a fear state so that then they could sell you corporate government solutions, right? There's something wrong with your child, corporate government solution. Or there's this thing out there that could hurt you, corporate government solution. There's a food shortage, corporate government solution, right? Genetically modified foods, right? Fake meat, all these things they're going to try to offer you soon, right? But they don't tell you, if they were really worried about you and right cared about the American people, they wouldn't try to put you in a fear state. They would show actual leadership. And they know how to do this. They're just trying to control you. They're trying to sell you corporate government solutions. And the way you do that is through fear. You create a fear scenario or you create a problem. Problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialectic. You create a problem, people react in a predictable way in a fear state, and then you sell them a solution, a corporate government solution that's already planned from the beginning, right? Well, how about the president comes on the television and says that America once faced a problem with food, and our greatest generation stepped up to the challenge. And I believe that this generation, their grandchildren, will be even greater, will step up to the challenge in a more monumental way. During World War II, when the United States of America, not just the United States of America, but the war, faced the spread of a global tyranny in which the world had never seen, the people of the United States of America rose to the occasion and made sure that we still had food by planting victory gardens. When you walked outside, you did not see grass on people's front lawns. You saw tomatoes, you saw cucumbers, you saw eggplants, you saw corn, you saw trees. I believe that this generation can rise to the occasion in the same way. I am calling for modern victory gardens. We will not allow Americans to starve. You will feed your family. You will feed your neighbor. Our parks will no longer be places where people simply come to meet, but we will turn them into community gardens where members of the community can volunteer to show up every day or once a week or whenever they can and to garden. And we will use our national parks, our historical sites to feed the people of the United States of America. Just like in World War II, when 40% of the fruits and vegetables consumed in the United States of America, 40% were grown on front lawns by people like you and me. Are you afraid anymore? Or did you just bring the country together? They always talk about how, yeah, we want to bring the country together. And the way to do that is we need to get rid of those really bad people. But of course, when they say that, what they're actually saying, they're dividing on purpose, right? They're saying the country would be united, but there's these people and they're really bad, so you need to hate these people. That's what they're saying, right? And then the people who are getting the finger pointed at them, they're like, they get defensive. They react in a defensive way, right? And it divides people. That's what the system does. That's what it's actually designed to do. That's what all this politically correct nonsense language is for. But if you really wanted people to come together, you would do it with community gardens. You would say, we're in this together, and we're going to volunteer to do it together. And you're going to feed your neighbor, and your neighbor's going to feed you. Not because of force, not because of the government's making you, but because we have risen to this challenge before, and we could rise to this challenge again. How powerful would that be? That's a message they don't want out. And then I'll get these trolls and these clowns like, he's so handsome. I will be joining your guys' learning program with my son when he's ready. Yeah, and we'd love to have you. And we have an amazing community of homeschool mothers and fathers who we talk about homeschooling, we talk about life. Like we have an open running chat 24 hours a day, and it's a really cool place. So I love it. My dad used a red dot as my timeout spot. That's funny. I love your passion and innovation. What's the earliest age kids can join your program? Well, you can start them on our nature unit study, which really is the heart and soul of our program, in my opinion, in kindergarten, right? I mean, it's something where some of the stuff is a little too complex for them, but a lot of it they can do and could really learn from and enjoy. So, yeah, I'd say that's when you can start. And just as a community at large, like we're just as valuable to the parents as we are to the kids, which is really cool. Do I have a full curriculum? We don't have a full curriculum. So we have our year-long nature unit study in which children are tracking the sun in the sky and drawing their own maps and learning about photography, studying the Mississippi River, studying the Rocky Mountains. They are learning how to figure out north, east, south, and west. They are planting seeds, building garden boxes, making their own compost, making little greenhouses, doing all stuff like that while they're learning art, videography, photography, construction, carpentry. They're learning all of this from our nature unit study. Then I teach a live class every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Right now, my course is on the Bill of Rights and the American Revolution. I have another course available that is called Foundations of Propaganda that I use the Cubs to Bears children book series, which I wrote, to teach children or make them familiar with the way propaganda actually works so that they can see it when they watch television shows or throughout the rest of their life. And then I teach a course on the media industrial complex, how to track the money and stuff like that. And we have more coming out. But this is our first year of original classical learner curriculum, and it's been a really cool thing to see grow and put together, and it's my baby. My son is 4, almost 5. Yeah, he would love the nature unit study. Where do I find this? Yeah, if you go to www.classicallearner.com, that's classicallearner.com, you'll see Homeschools Connected, and if you use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, it is $10 a month. I can send y'all seeds. It's been growing in this yard for almost 20 years. Can you please send me seeds? I would love that. I'd be so happy. Heirloom? I would absolutely love that. Yeah, I write the Cubs to Bears books. Do you know some herbs and teach how to make tinctures? So my wife is an acupuncturist, and she's actually coming out with a game sometime this month in which children learn herbology and plant identification. And the members of Homeschools Connected will get that for free, and then we're also going to sell that on the side to the general public, probably for $19.99, I would think. Yeah, my wife has an herbal game coming out, as she was saying. They definitely target our children. How did I get so lucky to find my people? Yeah, well, the good thing about the internet is like it kind of puts us into it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like it puts people into like thought bubbles, but you can use that positively or negatively. And like the bubble that I'm in, it's a very positive bubble. Like I'm surrounded by homeschoolers, homesteaders, very high frequency, high vibration type of people who think critically about the world, take personal responsibility, are moral. So that's where like you're really seeing the great schism, because here's the thing, like you could use social media to be for low vibration stuff. Like you could watch videos of people being kicked in the balls all day, right? And like laugh, right? Like real low vibration stuff or whatever you watch that's low vibration. But if you're into high vibration stuff, like you could start to go down algorithms where everything you're watching is like you're learning new skills, you're uncovering the mysteries of the world, like you're growing your knowledge. It's you can really use the algorithms. Like if people scroll through my TikTok algorithms, like it's all just homesteading stuff, historical knowledge, all like conspiracy stuff where people are breaking down, how they know this stuff and where it comes from. And, you do that, you could really learn a lot about the world. All of the material we have is on our Discord for members. Yeah, you get all our stuff. I'm in the process of stripping all dyes. It's processed foods is such a great topic. My wife and I were at the grocery store last week, or maybe like the weekend. I don't know, like 3 to 5 days ago, and we just needed a quick meal, and they sold sushi there. Those little sushi wraps. So you had the rice, the avocado, the cucumber, the crab, or the shrimp, whatever. So I was like, oh, there's only 5 ingredients because we try to eat healthy. I'm like, so it's not that bad. So I just wanted to look at the ingredients, and I looked at the ingredient label, and there must have been somewhere from 50 to 100 ingredients. Now, when you look at it, there was 5 ingredients, but with the preservatives, there was 50 to 100 ingredients. So if everything you eat has these preservatives, how much junk are you eating? How much junk are your children eating? We got to grow our food, people. If you want to be healthy, you got to grow your food. Because even the stuff that's organic, they still let them put all these preservatives and junk in. Like, if you want to blow your mind, do a Google search on what free-range chickens actually means. Because these big corporate farms like Purdue Farms, look what their version of free-range chickens is. Yeah, you'll probably vomit. You'll probably vomit. And then I'll be getting chickens in the next year, and then you'll see what my version of free-range chickens are, where they're actually running in like big grass fields. Because the things that the FDA allows to be called what they are is just, it's really disgraceful. Yeah, I mean, there's controlled opposition everywhere. Grass is a luxury. Yeah, my wife has been, came up with that slogan, and it's really growing on me. I think I might want to make shirts that say grass is a luxury. Because it's like, people in America, right now, they're worried about a potential food shortage, right? They're worried about a potential food shortage. And they'll have a front lawn that is all grass because they want it to look nice for their neighbors. And it's like, people are defeated by victory. Like, you should have tomatoes and cucumbers and all these things growing, but you have grass. You have this space where you could grow food. You're worried about a food shortage, and you're growing grass. Grass is a luxury. And by the way, I'm not even saying you want luxuries in life. Like, people are like, oh, you want all these luxuries, do you? Like, I want purpose. I want to wake up in the morning and know that I have all these plants that need me to take care of them, and I have to water them and prune them. Like, and I take care of them and they take care of me. They take care of my family. Like, it's an honor, an honor. It's an honor to spread the Garden of Eden. Be fruitful and multiply, and spread the Garden of Eden. Yeah, our goal is, my wife and I project we're still probably 3 to 5 years out from having almost 100% of our food from the farm. So hopefully we could accelerate that, but everything's a process, and in due time, we'll look up and then, like, all these seeds, these trees I plant, like, I'm planting trees now that my grandchildren will eat from when I'm dead. That is powerful. You don't need money to accumulate wealth. Seeds are so much wealth. I mean, imagine if a generation from now, your children and your grandchildren barely have to buy any food because of the seeds you planted 35 years earlier. Imagine that. Out in the field where Dad planted a seed, there is a tree as old as me. I climbed the tree to see the world. And as the wind passes by, it tries to blow me down. I held on as tightly as you held on me. I held on as tightly as you held on me. That's what living's about. That is the first song I ever sung to my daughter on when the day she was born and I was holding her. I was just walking around the hospital room singing her that song. And one day when I'm gone, my daughter and her children, and God willing, their children will be eating from trees, from seeds that grandpa or great-grandpa planted. And that's what it's about, people. That's your wealth. That's your power. That's where your power is. What is the Discord? Yeah, it's Homeschools Connected. It is our private homeschool community. Hundreds of homeschool parents, mothers and fathers who have a combined thousands of years of accumulative homeschooling knowledge. We have an open chat. People talk all day. Hey, I have this problem. Any suggestions? Or, hey, I'm doing this with little Matthew. You have open access to myself, and I personally coach the members of my community on what I do with homeschooling and what I would be doing if I were them. You get access to our resource library. So, like, all the best resources on the internet for videography, photography, construction, English, math, photography, music, art, history assignments. Like, you can find it all right there. And then I create original classical learner curriculum. We have our year-long nature unit study, which is amazing. Your children learn about gardening and all the things that I talk about all the time. Homesteading. They actually do it. They learn hands-on. They get entrepreneurial experience. I teach a course on the Bill of Rights, Thursdays at 10:30 a.m., the Bill of Rights in the American Revolution. I have a course on propaganda using the Cubs to Bears books that I wrote myself. A course on the media industrial complex. My wife is coming out with a game for the community on homeopathy and plant identification, and that's just the beginning. So we are building out, and we'd love to have you. I shared your videos with my Dill, and now she's looking at your information. What's a Dill? Daughter-in-law? Probably daughter-in-law, I'm guessing. Occasionally, I get lost in those rabbit holes. Yeah, it's okay to get lost in those rabbit holes. Like, it's fun. Everyone likes the gravy. All right? The truth of the matter is, I get more views, much more, when I do the gravy. Like, you want to hear about this conspiracy? Like, I get the views. But these are more valuable. Like, people have just been conditioned to lose. So they're like, people love to talk about the New World Order. They love the video I did on the World Economic Forum and their plan for 2030. But what they don't love is when I actually post the solutions, like how to beat it. I mean, a lot of people love it, don't get me wrong. There's millions of people waking up to how to actually beat it.
It's number 68, look.
Very good. It's just upside down. So that's the number. You see the number that the little stick is pointing at?
Yeah.
That's the 9. That's a 9-0 for 90.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out.
It's pretty hot out, right?
Yeah, we should go in the hot tub today.
You want to?
Yeah.
All right. I'll see if we can make that happen, okay? And maybe I'll blow up your bouncy castle today. I got you, man.
Make sure there's no bugs in it.
Yes, I'll try to make sure there's no bugs on it. Such a little scutch. All right. How's Orbs feeling?
Hey, are you still alive?
I am.
Oh, hi everyone.
You want to say hi to the people?
Sure. Strawberry.
Aubrey was a little under the weather last night. She's a little lethargic today.
Say hello.
Hey, Orbs.
Hi everybody. Good morning. Or good afternoon for us because we've been up all night. What do you see, the spinner? Look at Buddy chasing squirrels. We're gonna go down.
I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment and we build a planter box on the balcony. You get it. I always hear these people make excuses like, no, you build a planter box, you set it up in your window, in your window,
Setting up in the window.
in your window,
Hold on.
and you plant that way. It's about a lifestyle. It's about a mindset. And you just build toward what you want your life to be and take steps and you'll get there. Do some, yeah. You should binge watch microgreen business videos like Curtis Stone, the urban farmer. You could run a whole microgreen business out of your little apartment, 3rd floor apartment. And you could make $1,000 a week running a microgreen business out of your 3rd floor apartment. It's microgreens are awesome. They grow, you plant the seeds, and they're ready to cut in 1 week. My wife and I want to get into microgreens. We haven't done them yet. We need seeds, but I want to do it when we're actually at the new place. You want to do it now? She wants them for her sandwiches. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. My mouth is watering for them now. It's a life process. It's 100% worth it. Let me tell you something. 3 years ago, I was living in my house in Long Island, or 4 years ago, I had never gardened, and I was at my house in Long Island. Buddy! I don't care. He's barking at a squirrel. All right. There's a peace of mind when he stops barking. All right. I see the squirrel. It's going crazy up there. Buddy! Attaboy. All right. I was in my garden. So 4 years ago, I had never gardened. I did my first garden. I killed a 10 by 10 little garden in my house in Long Island, and I probably killed everything. It's hard to ignore him when I'm talking and he's just screaming in my ear. He is protecting our plants from squirrels, though. Good job, bud. Buddy's like, I'm working over here, Dad. So yeah, I had my 10 by 10 garden on Long Island. I probably killed everything. And now here I am 4 years later. I sold my house in Long Island, moved my family across the country. I've built a huge greenhouse. I have peach trees, plum trees, pear trees, all types of berry bushes, avocado trees, clementine trees. You just do one thing at a time, and you will start to get better at it, and you'll start to fall in love with it, and you'll just get better and better and better. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Sorry, my phone died. Where do I find this to sign up? That's www.classicallearner.com. You go to Homeschools Connected and use the discount code FREEDOM, and it's $10 a month. I hate when this thing jumps. I was on Homeschool Connected for a while, and I loved it. What a precious child. Thank you. I may look into microgreens. I just have 3 large dogs on top of 2 small kids. Well, it's a great operation to get the kids involved with. And it's cool because as you start to do like business things with it, you could teach them the different business stuff they can do. So like you can do where you try to actually approach grocery stores, restaurants, or you can just like set up a website and make a deal with like people that live on your block or in your apartment complex where they buy microgreens from you each week. Like there's so many different cool things you can do with that. I have 16 chickens, 3 roosters. That's awesome. 3 goats, 4 dogs, 3 cats, 10 kittens, and 3 kids. I know it's busy. All our seedlings froze. It happens. That's awesome that you have the chickens. And people don't realize what abundance that is. Like chickens lay an egg a day. 16 chickens is a ton of food. And then goats produce great milk. And I'm actually going to be getting a bunch of cats, including their leader, which will be a cat named Charisma Cat. But cats, they kill snakes, and I live in a place where there's copperheads and rattlesnakes, so I want to have a bunch of cats around and let them do what they do. Let those cats do what they do, because I cannot deal with the copperheads and the rattlesnakes. And the cottonmouths as well. Is there anything else that wants to kill me where we live? Spiders, alligators. I'm in the South, people. We currently have chickens, geese, ducks, a ram. Oh, that's awesome. Mini pig. They have a mini pig. That's the Feral Patriot has a mini pig. How many is it? 2 horses, farm cats, and 4 dogs, plus kids. So what Feral Cat is saying is that we definitely have to get me a horse.
When is this new horse thing of yours?
If I'm going to be on the farm, I need a horse.
So get a horse.
And a hat.
But you are taking care of the horse.
A horse and a hat, and you will refer to me as sir.
What about the happy pills, guys?
All right, maybe not. We're working on that one. All right. Oh, don't I'm getting the boots. I'm getting the boots. And obviously I'll be lawfully practicing my right to bear arms. My kid's only 3, but I want to start gathering the good info. Yeah, you're in the right place, and make sure you start schooling with them now. So you should be doing math with Cheerios, and don't buy Cheerios, they suck, but like Honey O's, the organic version, stuff like that. Just real basic stuff. Lots of artwork, pre-fine motor skills. So like anything that involves them using their fingers. So that could be like taking a clothing pin and picking up cotton balls to strengthen those pre-writing skills. Get them involved in cooking as much as you can, gardening. My daughter wants a horse, and they are expensive. I wish I could do that. Yeah, well, you know, not everything has to happen immediately, so just in time. Create a little horse fund, even if it's $100 a month, and just eventually you'll look up and be like, all right, I'm getting a horse. I'm in Florida. We have goats, cows, horses, dogs, chickens are on the way. Oh, you guys are such crushers. So our goal is in the next 12 months, I want our chickens and our honeybees. Chickens and bees. And once I get chickens and bees established, then I want goats. And then once I have goats established, I want alpaca and a cow. Maybe more cows. Who are we kidding? Anyone who knows me, once I get one cow, I'm going to wind up with like 27 cows. All right. It's cheaper to pay for riding lessons than to maintain a horse. If you go with a half finger or gypsy vanner, they are super easy keepers. Are those types of horses? I don't know what that means. Our rule of thumb is that we're able to afford a year's worth of feed and vet bills prior to buy. Yeah, that's pretty wise. Next on my list is bees. Oh yeah. Our animals are misfits that I ended up with almost free. That's amazing. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, that's why community is so valuable, because if you start to become friends with like people that are farmers and whatnot, and their animals start to have babies, they'll literally give you the babies. So it's there. I mean, there's so many different forms of currency, and community is a massive one. Or you could barter. We have 15 cows. That's amazing. Do you do a dairy farm? Do you sell the dairy? Or a slaughter farm? What do you do? Ford is a good horse. They're horse breeds. No, we meet and rodeo cows. Nice. I want my kids to learn hands-on to care for a horse. Yeah, I mean, that's the good stuff. So, all right, guys, this has been fun. I think we've had a good stream. So, I'm a classical learner on everything. I stream daily at 9:30 a.m. And, yeah, so find me on that stuff. Like I said, if you're interested in what I do, that's classicallearner.com. Homeschools Connected, promo code FREEDOM. It's $10 a month. There's a summer program at a local farm here to take care of all the animals and ride the horses. That's awesome. So, all right, guys, I'm going to give it a 10 count. I'm going to call this a stream. You can't be over here. Brady, do not come over here. Do not. Thank you. Ready?
I can't believe you have to come back.
Brady doesn't have a shirt on, and he can't be on the camera without it. All right. All right. All right, guys. This has been lots of fun. I've got to run.